Hello there, how are you doing? And Happy New Year to you too, because this is my first video of 2024, the beginning of a new year, and it's going to be a fairly short one because there's actually not that much going on in terms of tech. In fact, I'm going to be talking mainly about cryptocurrency on this one, as you probably guessed from the title of the video. I feel like the world is watching carefully what's happening in the US at the moment in terms of the presidential election, and of course we've got all those various geopolitical things going on around the world, which is quite scary. There's a lot of problems, particularly in the Middle East. Of course, we have them in Ukraine. And you wonder what's going to happen next and what will happen in terms of technology. I do not know. I think the technology is a backseat for that. But not, it seems, in the world of crypto. So I've done a few videos. It's been a while since I've done a crypto video. It hasn't been since the JPEX scandal, which I'll talk about briefly in a moment on that one too. But it feels like in the last, well, I suppose in the last few weeks, we've had a bit of a crypto renaissance. A few things have happened. First of all, probably the biggest one rather, not necessarily the first one, was the SEC in the US essentially allowing ETFs that are traded on Bitcoin, so exchange traded funds that run on Bitcoin, meaning that it's been seen, and it's given this air of legitimacy to actual Bitcoin trading. And the funds that have actually started doing this are doing incredibly well and making quite a lot of money. And I think this is the beginning of a new era of how not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency in general might be perceived. It may be that it becomes much more of a legitimized investment tool, which in some ways it always was. Now it won't apply, I think, to all cryptocurrencies. I think that certainly the SEC and any other regulator, wherever they may be in the world, will take a view that only certain cryptocurrencies have this sort of air of authenticity to them. But it is a big deal, and it means that crypto is actually surging again for the first time in a long time, and all of the markets that weren't very happy about crypto are thinking, well, actually now maybe it is the future. Certainly digital currencies, I will lump in crypto as a digital currency because I think it is one. I think they're going to have an interesting year ahead. Which brings the second thing to me. Here in Hong Kong, the HKMA, so the Hong Kong Monetary Authorities, they're the banking regulator essentially, they have announced that they will essentially be providing some regulation in terms of stablecoins. Now, stablecoins are essentially a token that is linked to an asset. Normally it's a fiat currency, for example. And you'll remember there were lots of scandals, was it a year ago? Was it 2 years ago? I don't even know now, where some of them collapsed and people lost a lot of money and people weren't very happy and they didn't get their money back. Now the HKMA has come in and said they're going to regulate them. And again, it's another element where I think they're going to give another bit of an air of legitimacy, and we may find that essentially they become used as an investment tool here in Hong Kong, a legitimate investment tool, and start to be offered perhaps even by banks. Now, when we had FinTech Week last year, I think it was in November, maybe I can't remember actually, I don't know what day it was, there was a lot of talk about essentially the digital Hong Kong dollar, essentially a currency, a digital currency that is backed by the government, by banks here in Hong Kong. But I wonder if stable coins will either replace that or be a precursor to it. We'll have to see. But it's a big deal. Now, what's interesting is the HKMA, not the SFC, the Securities and Futures Commission, who would normally, I think, go look after virtual assets, and they run the virtual asset licensing scheme for cryptocurrencies. But they're not the regulator. It is the HKMA. So it's interesting how that will play out. We've got these suggestions of what they're going to do and what the regulation will look like. It's pretty broad brush at the moment, but I think it will make a big difference. So I think we may see Hong Kong, which has been trying to for a long time, it was a bit slow off the bat, trying to become a bit of a crypto hub. Certainly in terms of where it's looking for investment, that would make sense, but we'll see. But there's a big of an elephant in the room. So JPEX, you remember the JPEX, the exchange where there were the raids? I think it was my most viewed video. Lots of people were arrested. They thought it was all going to collapse. The crypto shop near me, the coiner shop, got closed down very quickly, which was quite a concern. It had police tape around it at one point, which is quite interesting. I don't know whether that was just because they didn't want someone to break in. And then we've heard nothing. So lots of people have been in touch with me asking what's going to happen with JPEX. Well, despite all the arrests, we've had no real news. There was some brief news about a month ago, but this was just an update saying there have been lots of arrests. The police are still investigating. Lots of people have complained about lost assets, but we don't really know exactly what's happened, and maybe we won't for a long, long time, not until a case is actually put forward. I think the police are investigating and preparing a case, and people start going to trial. So we'll see. That could be the fly in the ointment for crypto, but I do think that 2024 will be a bit of a crypto year. Now, I know without to that, I mentioned sort of geopolitical tensions at the beginning. That might be because people see crypto as a more of a safe haven now to put your money in if they're worried about what's happening in terms of currencies and economies around the world, because the world is in a little bit of a mess. Let's hope it improves and that 2024 gets better for everyone, wherever they may be. So there we go. I told you this would be short. I will be giving a talk in person. If you're watching this, I'm giving a talk on the 23rd of January as part of a panel talking about data breaches, cybersecurity, breach responses, and when they go wrong. How your breach response could lead to you losing legal privilege or getting you put in jail. That's a bit of a hot topic, but believe me, it could happen. If you want to see that, go onto my LinkedIn page. You can find me on LinkedIn under Paul Haswell, and you can sign up for that. It is, of course, free, and I'm doing that with NCC Group, and that will be awesome. And in the meantime, if you've got any comments, if you're wondering what crypto will look like or have any suggestions whether crypto is back or it's just a blip caused by some news at the very beginning of the year, it's been a fairly slow news period, at least not for sort of war news at least, then do get in touch and let me know, because I'd be interested in your views. But that's it for the moment. Have a great January. I'll be back when something more exciting happens in the world of technology, which hopefully won't be too far away. It's probably going to be something about AI, isn't it? I just got this feeling that there'll be an AI thing. I just hope it's not robots taking over the world and stealing everyone's crypto. Who knows? But anyway, for now, have a good one, and I will see you very soon. Take care.